If you're relocating to St. Johns County, you've already narrowed it down to either Silverleaf or Nocatee. You're already making a smart decision. Now, these two communities are completely different, and choosing the wrong one based on your lifestyle is a harder mistake to fix after you've already moved in. In this video, I'm giving you an honest side-by-side breakdown of both communities so you can figure out which one is actually the right fit for you. So if you don't know me, I am Melissa Anderson. I am with eXp Realty. I'm your Northeast Florida realtors, and I help buyers like you every single week who are thinking about moving right here to Northeast Florida. And if that's you, stay tuned. So quick disclaimer before we get into this video, I work in both communities, and this video isn't about trying to pick one community over the other. This is just sharing educational information to help you make the right decision based on your needs and your family. And that starts with giving you the whole real picture. We're gonna talk about price, location, amenities, the vibe, schools, all those things that make each community what they are. Now let's start with geography, because that is more important than most people realize. We're gonna head on over to the maps, and I'm gonna show you on the map where each community is located. So let's go. Right here we can see Nocatee. Nocatee sits in Ponte Vedra. It is right at the border of Duval and St. Johns County. Now, there's actually a small portion of Nocatee that is in Duval County. Now, this is about 20 miles south of downtown Jacksonville. It's roughly 10 miles from the beach at Ponte Vedra Beach, and about 25 miles north of downtown St. Augustine. So really a great location. It's a massive master planned community, one of the best selling in the entire country, with around 15,000 homes at build out across multiple villages or neighborhoods. Now, this is a mixed use development. So you have, it's like a little city because you have your businesses inside there as well, in addition to where you live. Now let's take a look at SilverLeaf. Is its own master planned community, but it's located in St. Augustine. And this is further south, and it sits between County Road 210 and State Road 16 along St. John's Parkway. It is one of the largest master planned communities in Northeast Florida. It spans over 11,000 acres, and it is zoned for more than 16,000 homes at full build out. It is actively developing with distinct neighborhoods, including Silverleaf Village, Silver Landing, Courtney Oaks, Holly Landing. The list goes on. The list goes on. But each have their own builders, HOA, and price point. Now, let's note that one of the biggest differences between these two communities is that Nocatee is pretty much like a percent build out. There's very little new construction still left in there. So think about that. And also Nocatee has a CDD fee, and whereas SilverLeaf just has an HOA fee. So if proximity to Jacksonville or Ponte Vedra matters to you, airport, NAS Jacksonville, getting downtown for work, Nocatee would win on location. But if you're drawn to a more quieter, more St. Augustine adjacent lifestyle and don't need to be as close to Jacksonville, then SilverLeaf makes a lot of sense. Let's get into the nitty gritty, which is what your money gets you in each neighborhood. Let's put a pin in that for a second. One of the other biggest factors too is we talked about, like, one has an HOA and CDD, the other doesn't have a CDD. SilverLeaf is definitely going to be a larger community. SilverLeaf is still actively being built out, and it's still going to be being built out for years to come. Whereas Nocatee has been being built for the past 15 years or so, and it's almost 98 complete. So keep that in mind. But let's talk about what price gets you in each community. Nocatee has an enormous price range, anywhere from 400,000 in some of the most affordable neighborhoods, all the way up to over $2 million, which is in probably the most, well over $2 million. Two of the most expensive neighborhoods there is going to be River Landing, where these are like custom built homes on the river, or Coral Ridge. I think last time I checked at Coral Ridge, there were 6 opportunities left to get new construction, to get a new home. And those are David Weekley homes that are left there. So if you want more information about that, let me know. And I believe there are still some lots left to build in River Landing. And of course, there's some resale in both. Also to note, in Nocatee, you have actually 3 55 plus communities there. You have Del Webb Nocatee, Del Webb Ponte Vedra, and then you have Artisan Lakes. And those are all 55 plus communities. SilverLeaf right now just has the one 55 plus community, which is Reverie at SilverLeaf. Both have multiple gated neighborhoods within them. All right, so back to price. In Nocatee, you can find townhomes, You can find single family homes, villas. You can find estate-sized lots. Because Nocatee has been building for over 15 years, you'll also find a really strong resale market there alongside what's remaining of the new construction. So that's actually a big advantage for buyers who want to move on a faster timeline and you don't want to wait on new construction. Now, SilverLeaf has a wide range across its neighborhoods, from the low 300s all the way up to over $1 million for larger lots. I've seen large lots in SilverLeaf that are like half an acre or more. So really great sizes there. And later down the pipeline, they will have 1+ acre lots available neighborhood there too. So that's exciting. A lot of people are looking for those larger lots these days. And like I said, one of its standout advantages in SilverLeaf is going to be that it has no CDD fees. That saves homeowners thousands of dollars each year compared to those that carry CDD assessments. And let's just talk about what that is real quick in case you're not familiar. It's a community district development fee, and it's billed through your annual property tax bill. I want to say for Nocatee, it's on average probably over $3,000 per year. Once the bond is paid off, the bond is typically 30-year bond, then you're only paying the operation and maintenance portion of that bond. So like say if your CDD fee was $3,500, say after the bond's paid off, it's like $1,200. So, and then because SilverLeaf is being actively developed right now, you have tons of new construction that is available. So if you're looking 6 to 12 months for a build, depending on the builder in the neighborhood. If you need to move fast and you want truly a luxury resale with established landscaping, finished feel, established community, the Nocatee might be your choice there. If you want newer construction, no CDD fees, and more flexibility on price point, then SilverLeaf might be the area that you want to look. Let's talk about amenities and lifestyle. So right now, what really kind of narrows it down to what people make their decision based on. So I'm going to tell you what, I always like to go off on a little tangent here. Depending on where you're moving from, usually you're moving to Florida because you want like an active lifestyle. I mean, we have over 220 days of sunshine. You can pretty much be outside year round, and there's just so much opportunity to live life and to be outdoors. And that's why people move down here. They just love it. If you have children, your children are going to be in sports. They can be in sports outdoors year round. There's just so much stuff, opportunities to be outdoors, be active, and with the beautiful weather. So just keep that in mind. Regardless of where you live, you're still going to be living in Florida, and you can make the most of it. All right, so Nocatee is built around its central hub town center. 2 Publix. I saw this meme the other day, and they were like, when you live in Florida, you're never less than 5 miles from the nearest Publix. And in this case, there is usually multiple Publix. You usually have like 2 or 3 Publix, sometimes within a 5-mile radius. It's crazy. But you have Publix, you have restaurants, you have shops, fitness studio, there's dog park. All of this is golf cart accessible from many of the neighborhood. The amenity centers, you have Splash Water Park, you have Nocatee Preserve, you have the kayak launch, their fitness, the gym. It's all super impressive. Let me say, it's really nice. And the golf cart culture is real. It is real. Who needs a car? You just get around on your golf cart. So many people now work from home or they work remote, and you got a golf cart, you can pretty much get anywhere. So you'll see families all the time cruising around on their bikes, on their golf carts. They're going to go get ice cream. They're going to the pool. They're going out to eat. There's a huge farmers market there. I think it's just once a month on Saturdays. There's food truck Fridays. It has a true small city, little town feel so community, walkability, convenience. That is. Now let's talk about SilverLeaf. So SilverLeaf is still actively being built out, like we talked about, and it's still building out its commercial core. So Nocatee has its town center built out. However, there's still new businesses coming there, but SilverLeaf is still building out its commercial core. Now, one of my favorite restaurants is located in SilverLeaf Town Center, and it's called Rustica. Their menu changes based on seasonality and ingredients. I love it. It's so good. I've never had a bad meal there. And their lychee martini is delicious. So if you ever come to town and you want to look at communities and you're like, well, so you mentioned the video and you said Rustica was really good and they had great lychee martinis. Yes, let's go. But SilverLeaf is coming along further than people realize. Like I said, it's huge. It's 11,000 acres. It's going to take a minute. So in the SilverLeaf Commons, which is the town center, they already have restaurants. They have a coffee shop, which is Foxtail Coffees. It's good. fitness studios, and guess what? They just opened, of course, Publix. What else would there be? But this Publix, it is one of the largest stores in all of Florida. I feel like I need to go do a video on this Publix store, but this Publix is one of the largest stores in all of the entire state. Their first amenity center is open. It has a resort style pool, splash pad, fitness center, pickleball, basketball, tennis courts. It has 2 dog parks, and a second amenity center is getting ready to open, or it may have already opened this year, but I know it was slated to open 2026. That's huge. The community also has over 50 miles, that's insane, of paved trails and golf cart paths that wind through it. Now, Nocatee does too. They have the Greenway path or green, I don't know what's called, green something, but there's tons of trails all throughout Nocatee too. SilverLeaf is definitely, it's a little bit more spread out than Nocatee, and it doesn't have the real like single hub town center feel yet, if you know what I mean. But it's getting there and getting there fast. All right, so who would prefer Nocatee after we just talked about this? So social buyers, families with young kids who have constant activities, or who want activities, people who want walkable convenience, just intertwined into their everyday life, and they want a shorter commute to Jacksonville. Now, who would prefer SilverLeaf? Buyers who want new construction, they don't want the added CDD fee, they want a quieter place, they want a community that's still building out with a serious upside. It's also great for buyers who are more orientated towards St. Augustine than Jacksonville. All right, St. Johns County School District, which is consistently ranked as one of the top school districts in the state of Florida. Now, let me just talk about that for a second, because I mentioned at the beginning of the video that a portion of Nocatee was located in Duval County. So it's based on your address what school your child is zoned for. So if it's important for you to have your child in St. Johns County School, just make sure the address of home that you're looking at in Nocatee is St. Johns County and not Duval County. Let's see. So school district, that's a big plus when families are looking at moving down here. But again, since both of them are located in St. Johns County minus that small cap, you're set. So you should be able to pick the right home in the neighborhood of the community that you want. So who is each community really for? Let's break it down just in plain terms. All right. So choose Nocatee if you want a true live, work, play community with walkable amenities. You need a shorter commute to Jacksonville, the airport, or NAS Jax. I feel like that's probably the most important one. You want more resale inventory and faster move-in timelines. Your kids are young and you want a neighborhood that's constantly buzzing with activities, and you want the largest selection of price points and home styles. You should choose SilverLeaf if you want newer construction, latest home designs, a wide selection of builders, even custom builds. You want to avoid CDD fees. SilverLeaf has none, which is a huge plus for a master plan community. You prefer a slightly quieter, less densely developed feel. You're more oriented towards St. Augustine than Jacksonville, and you want to get in early on a community that still has significant upside as it builds out. So the honest truth is neither community is objectively better. The exact one matches like how you want to live, your lifestyle, how your family wants to live every day. And that's exactly the conversation I love having with my relocation buyers. Is I have a little buyer questionnaire that I like to send before our first call, and that helps me narrow down. After you fill that out, I can have a pretty good idea of okay, this would be a great community for them, and it helps us narrow that down. But if you're trying to figure out which community is best for you, I'd love to help. So reach out directly. I'm gonna put my contact information right here. You can use it to get a hold of me, call, text, or email. I work with out-of-state buyers debating these decisions every single week. And if that's you too, I would love to help. Oh, and if you haven't grabbed it yet, I have a free 26-page relocation guide on St. Johns County that covers all of the major communities here, not just Nocatee and SilverLeaf, although those two are definitely both included. That covers neighborhood, schools, cost of living, everything else that you need to know before you make the move. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more info about St. Johns County as I release these videos, and I will see you in the next one.